everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Magic Show. Now, this week we have our own exclusive spoiler. WotC unleashed the friggin' floodgates with brand new stuff to talk about, so let's get to it. Now, first up is my own little spoiler. Yes, every set I get to hold it and caress it and call it George, and then I get to unleash it on the world. Now, this spoiler, it's a fatty boom booms, and obviously they undercosted it, so let's first set up a 6/6 flyer for 2 colorless and 2 black. Now, you know, and I know, they can't just let this thing be a vanilla 6/6 flyer. What's the catch? Well, it's interesting. Check out Desecration Demon. Yeah, the boom booms, they fly, but this card is deceptively interesting. Now, first, you can easily eschew the whole mess by saying, you remember Lingering Souls, right? Yeah, about that. But this guy is more interesting than that. I mean, first up, if your opponent has no creatures, they have no way to sacrifice one so it can't attack. Secondly, if you destroy their last creature before the combat step begins, they can't sag it to prevent an attack. And thirdly, oh yes, there's a freaking thirdly up in here, if you have multiples out, things get gross real quick. Now, mono black, Dimir Control, whatever 3-color hybrid mess that shows up as a part of Ravnica Standard, will all want to have a finisher. They want something that can finish the game in 3 to 4 swings, and with the help of shock lands, you normally only have to deal 18 in the next year or two to end things for your opponent. Sure, it's unreliable in some ways, but in others it's a consistent removal as your opponent doesn't want to let it swing. And the very thing preventing it from swinging is making it scarier and harder to deal with. Now, do note, of course, that it can just be chump locked, and that's fine too. I'll take my undercosted fatties any way I can get them. I, for one, am super curious as to how old Desecration Demon ends up in Standard, but my guess is it will be much more fun at the kitchen table. Now, I'd like to thank Wizards of the Coast for giving me my own spoiler this go around as usual, and with my official spoiler out of the way, let's talk turkey. Now, first up, Shocklands! Hell yes, Shocklands! Can you say Shocklands? I can say Shocklands! You bet your magic playing ass they brought back Shocklands, and they are just as sweet, just as cool, and just as awesome as they always were. After another ridiculously drawn-out staring contest between Wizards and the community, this weekend's event at PAX served as a way to show off the Shocklands and a bunch of other cool cards, such as Jace, Architect of Thought. Now this guy, oh man, I like my Factor Fictions, I really do. And you know what is fun? 2 fun-size Factor Fictions for about the same cost. Now the +1 ability, it's neato. It helps in, well, not dying. It keeps Jace alive another turn, but ultimately is just there to let you fuel more Factor Fictions. Now Foff was big game back in the day, and many pros only had one thing in mind: make them take the smaller pile. It was 3 cards versus 2 cards, and who would win? The guy who made the other guy take the smaller pile. But in a world of 3-card Foffs, there can often be an obvious winner, and you're obviously going to take it. Jace lets you see the top 3, gives your opponent the ability to completely dirtle his way into defeat, and then lets you choose even after they have. And while the ultimate is cool, as most are, that ability never really sells a Planeswalker. It's the ability to impact the board, which is minimal here, or have a sweet effect, of which this one is very, very sweet. You can't expect Mind Sculptors every time, and honestly, no one wants more Mind Sculptors. This thing is leagues better than Memory Adept, and we can all be happy about that. But I'm not done with Planeswalkers. Feast your eyes on Vraska the Unseen. Card is awesome. Yes, it's no Gideon, the current poster child for high-end 5-mana Planeswalkers, but this girl, she does some disgusting things on her own. First up is the come at me bro trigger. She doesn't make them hurt her like Gideon, but if you do, it's no mercy for you. Second is the single target Maelstrom Pulse, with the ability to destroy other Planeswalkers in a single bound, or creatures, or equipment, or enchantments, or anything that ever bothers you ever. Lastly, 3 assassins to kick your assins. Yes, I went there because this ultimate is so sick, so flavorful, and so cool. Better yet, the ridiculous moments actually firing off this ultimate will create. If you gain control of one of these assassin tokens, you too can kill people with them. Better yet, how about a little Shine Show? Redirected combat damage is still combat damage. Now, this is a Planeswalker that just keeps on giving, but how are you going to answer it? If the original line was dies to Doomblade for creatures, well, we must now be running out dies to Dreadbore. Oh, man, Dreadbore, this card. I can't tell you how friggin' terrific this card is. There is versatility, and then there is versa-freaking-tility. This card basically assures that Jund zombies will be a force to be reckoned with virtually none of the other powerful zombies leaving us and almost every Rakdos card juiced to the max. I mean, have you seen Rakdos' return? I mean, seriously? This card will be a definitive 4 of in all of those decks. decks. If you haven't pre-ordered a playset, now's the time. Such a powerful and unique spell is one made to sell a set, and this card will do its job very well. Filling in the Maelstrom Pulse slot of Jund zombies, this card will do all the work you want it to. Remove blockers and solve problems. Doesn't matter how powerful that new Jace may or may not be, because Dreadbore solves it. Nice Garruk Relentless. Now kill it and get out of my way. But man, we haven't even gotten started on the sicko 2-mana spells. Have you seen Grisly Salvage? Yes, that is a Golgari Impulse, and it is an instant, and it will be doing work with Scavenge and this bad boy, Lotleth Troll. Soon to be the LOL Troll. This guy is just very, very good. For a 2-drop that isn't Strangleroot Geist, it's damn close. But even Strangleroot Geist doesn't regenerate. It also doesn't trample. These two keywords are exceedingly powerful on a card, let alone one that can be pumped out of nowhere. Let alone the freaking Scavenge mechanic that says, yes, please, I will happily boost your power to crush opponents and regenerate for cheap. But let's talk charms, specifically Selesnya Charm. While I guessed a few meh abilities last week, the real thing is an absolute payday candy bar. Nuts. Yeah, I mean, let's break it down. +2/+2 in trample, this will often blow people out. Geist of St. Traff says what's up. Or just kill people out of nowhere, to which Thragtusk says hi. That alone is a cute and powerful trick. But destroying a creature outright for just having 5 power or more? Thragtusk? Dead. Thundermire Hellkite? Dunzo. Your opponent crashes in with a Runechanter's Pike-wielding Snapcaster? Man, let's just end his life right now. You know, the Selesnya way. But lastly, a 2/2 Knight, and I like how they stuck Vigilance on there. You know, a little subtle. We can do that, you know, for no real reason. Let's keep our charms nice and juicy. This one is particularly absurd and one of the scariest to sit atop the Isochron Scepter. Now, I can't talk about the new spoilers without discussing the power uncommons. I don't know what universe they arrived from, but damn are they pushed. First up, Judge's Familiar. Now, wizards. I mean, I like Cursecatcher too. And yes, this is no Cursecatcher in the sense that it is A, not a merfolk or a wizard, and B, doesn't fly. But what it does do is open up white decks, particularly those in Legacy and Modern and probably Standard, that will absolutely love the ability to slow down their spell-wielding opponents while also having a warm, evasive body to carry equipment and such. Turn 1 Judge's Familiar, turn 2 Thalia, Garden of Thraben. Yeah, Gutshot rotates out too. Good luck resolving any non-creature spell anytime soon. Have you seen Dryad Militant? You ever thought to yourself, Self, can I just write Snapcaster Sucks on a card and print it? Why, Self, yes you can. Just take Savannah Lions and or Jungle Lion, 2 wonderful and now old school rares, and make it uncommon with Elite Vanguard. And then take a new set and juice the crap out of it and call it Dryad Militant. I mean, I guess it's a sign of the times and all, but it appears that the one way wizards can make 1-drops matter is by making them insanely better than they used to be. And honestly, I'm not sure this is actually bad. I'm just noting that this is the case. 1-drops over the past few years, I'm guessing Shadowmoor forward, have really strived to be more interesting than just last picks in draft. With awesome beaters like Dryad Militant and metagame all-stars like Judge's Familiar, they are well on their way. A few last hits before I go. First, Chromatic Lantern foils are going to be worth actual infinite dollars. This card might as well have been called Commander and Cube Staple because that's exactly what it is. I'm afraid of what a Japanese or Russian foil this bad boy will bring, because in a few years you can easily double or triple that value. I mean, look at the stats. It's colorless. It taps for mana and it fixes the rest of your mana for free. It lets fetch lands and lands like Maze of Ith tap for mana. And if you have a cube, you need this card. If you have a commander deck, you need this card. If there is one card that could possibly drive a 5-color control archetype in Standard, you're looking at it. I haven't seen a card fix mana this powerfully since Coalition Relic, also known as a slam dunk first pick in cube and an all-star in Commander, currently a $5 rare and a $30 foil from a set printed 5 years ago, and sees absolutely zero constructed play these days. So, yeah, that's a killer card. And that's it for this week. As the Magic Show train keeps rolling, I'll see you back here next week to go over the raft of spoilers as they wash up on the fanboy shores. Until next time, Magic players, this is Evan Irwin, tapping the cards so you don't have to.
Always like the fatties.